What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm back with another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. And I hope y'all had a really beautiful Thanksgiving weekend. I know I did. Spending it with family is always a blessing. Um, Being able to just vibe and chill and just laugh and be thankful, it's just a wonderful feeling. So if you were able to spend time with one family member or 50 family members, just consider it a blessing. I hope you took time to be thankful for all that you have. And when I talk about being thankful, some people think that being thankful means being thankful for a gigantic home or being thankful for having a whole bunch of money in the bank. Sometimes we're thankful for just making it. This has been a tough year. There's been so much happening. I mean, government shutdowns. We had people who were making six figures standing in lines to get free turkeys this year. We had people who were making six figures who were um, getting assistance. So you never know what's going to happen. You never know how the tides can turn. So if you made it through all of that and you're standing to tell the story, then you have something to be thankful for. So don't think just because you're not where you think you should be, that you have nothing to be thankful for. So I just really wanted to put that out there before we get started, that everybody has something that they should be thankful for. So please take a moment and just say thank you. So now that I have that out the way, we are going to start another exciting episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. I have two new authors that I'm going to be interviewing this week. And we are actually down to the last three episodes of 2025. So we will be interviewing two authors tonight, two more authors next week, and then the last two authors of 2025 will be the week after that. And then we'll be going on a 2-week hiatus for the holidays, and then we will jump right back in January. We'll be interviewing the authors who will be interviewed for the Black History Month Literary Weekend, and we are going to have a time. And then I will meet you guys in New Orleans for the 10th annual Black History Month Literary Weekend. And you just saw that promo. And if you haven't heard, tickets start today. Ticket sales start today. And I want you to go on out there and get your tickets, because tonight for Cyber Monday, we are doing a 2-for-1 special for the Black History Month Comedy Night and the Ivory and Cream Affair. That's going to be on February 20th and the 21st. So if you're in New Orleans, you definitely want to make sure you take advantage of these deals. So just go to the Black History Month Literary Weekend Facebook page. I have event links for all of the events, or you can just go to event, and I'll post those links throughout the show. And make sure you take advantage of these deals, get those 2-for-1 specials. In fact, I heard a couple of people were having some issues and they weren't able to find it. And so I decided I'm actually going to extend the special one more day until tomorrow. But that's it, just tomorrow, just December 2nd. And then you have to go to regular early bird pricing. But all throughout the month of December is early bird pricing. So you're still going to be getting a very special deal. So if you're in New Orleans, make sure you get your tickets for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. We are celebrating our 10th anniversary, and a time will be had. But without any further ado, it's time to bring on our very first guest, Mr. Julius King. He's my neighbor, and he has written 2 amazing children's books, and I'm so happy to have him on the show. We've been trying to get him on the show for a couple of months now, and we finally were able to make it happen. So I would love for you all to help me to welcome Mr. Julius King, my fellow veteran.
Yes.
And he wants everybody to know he has those wings in the background. Welcome to the Horizons Author Lounge. How are you tonight?
I am doing good. Thank you. Thank you so much. How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you for being on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. I know we've been trying to get this thing going for a while, so thankful that our time synced up right and we able to do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, first of all, congratulations on your 2 books. What inspired you to write children's books?
Um, Lucky happenstance. So my first book, Little Black Boy, was actually just a poem that I wrote and that I was recording, doing an audio for. And somebody heard it and was like, "Man, that'd be really good to get it out, like in like a literary sense." And figured, like, how would I write a book with this? And I just happened to go into a bookstore and I saw a book that I thought was really neat, and it was like, oh, it's an illustrated poem, and I was like, this is how I will do this book. So got with a up and coming artist at the time from my hometown in Columbus, Georgia, Nyla Brown. She did all the illustrations for me, and I broke the poem down in book format that was easily digestible for all ages, not just children. My second book, my daughter was kind of excited about me writing Little Black Boy, but then she was like, "I'm tired of Little Black Boy. I want a book for me."
What about
So
this girl?
so that's how the second book came about. And she's 5 years old. My youngest is 5, and I'm like, how will I create a book for her? I want it to be something that she would be interested in. And at that age, I'm like, you know what, learning. So I wanted to do a book, but I didn't want to just do a regular ABC book or learning book. I wanted it to be tied to our culture, our community, which is why the book is called like Meadow and Friends ABC Adventure. And it's a journey from English to Africa. And it takes your basic ABC book and the words that are in there. And for the main word, it translates it to an African word from different countries, different dialects, breaks down how to
Oh,
say the word. And it also breaks down like what countries primarily speak the language of the word. So throughout the book, you'll have a lot of different dialects, and it'll tell you the countries they come from. So,
that's
yes.
awesome. Wow.
Yeah. Yes, it was a very strenuous process.
I'm quite sure
Very
there
strenuous.
was.
Yes, but well worth it, and she loves it. I took a couple of like people that I know that are close to me that have children around that same age, and I have 2 grandsons. So I actually use their images and put them in a book doing different activities. So when they see the book, you know, my biggest thing is I want little Black children to be able to look at these books and see themselves in it. Uh,
Yes.
and their likeness in it. And for the people that are close to me, like their children as well. If my daughter will be able to grow up and be like, I was in a book. That right there is
Uh,
priceless to me.
I say all the time that representation matters. And
Yes.
when our kids can see themselves in a book, when they can see themselves in positive situations, they can also see what's possible for themselves.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So very important to me. Just across, even with the book Little Black Boy, it's a strong message of you can be whatever you want to be. And throughout the book, throughout the illustrations, not only is it just Black boys, but it's Black boys of all colors, if that makes sense, right? All different shades, because we do
Yes.
come in so many shades. And we grow up in these, we grow up in a world where, you're too dark and you get made fun of, or you're too light and you get made fun of. But like this book shows different shades, and it's empowering to let little Black boys know they can be whatever they want to be, and they don't have to be what people tell them they have to be.
Oh, that is huge. That is
Yeah.
huge because I don't know how old you are, but I grew up in a time where often, especially, well, girls too, actually, we were
Yeah.
basically told what we were going to be. You're never going to be this. You're never going to be that. Or because we grew up in a certain time or in a certain place, we thought that that was a predictor of what we would be as we got older.
Yes. Definitely right. So I just turned 43. Um, but I saw it. My dad was in the military, so we did move around a little bit, but we stayed primarily in the South. I was raised primarily in Georgia, Texas, Louisiana. So definitely being from the South, also, right? You get told, here's the limit of what you can be. And on the backside of that, if you exceed that limit within our own community, sometimes we cast a doubt on what a person like actually is. And when I say that, like the black card, right? Like if you're too smart, uh,
Yeah.
you're not black. And I think that's something that, in my book, I wanted to make sure that I let people know, like, just because you talk correct, right? Just because you talk correct, or
I,
where you're
I was told
from,
that I was
think
proper tone.
yep, yeah. Oh, you talk proper, or being from the South, when people from the South, they don't think we're as intelligent, right? They're like, oh, y'all sound slow, but we're just as smart, right? And the funny part is, a lot of your people, like people from New York or Detroit or West Coast, if you talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, my grandmother's from Mississippi, we're all from the South at some point. What it seems like everybody just migrated out and changed their accent, but
Right.
um, no matter who you are, what you look like, what I'm saying, you can be whatever you want to be, whoever you want to be, and you don't have to be limited by what people tell you you are. You're so much more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I want to go back a little bit because you said that you kind of started this journey because you were voicing a book for another author. So are you a voice narrator?
No, no, I was so I do poetry, and I did a poetry EP. So I have a poetry album out.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, everything right. So everything for me is just like God put me and gave me these opportunities. I call it, sometimes we call it luck, but I did a poem one time and I put it on Facebook, and I just said the poem. And a friend that I've had for maybe 25 years is a producer. And he's like, hey, you mind if I, sample the voice in this poem and use it for this thing? And I was like, yeah. So he put a beat behind my vocals, and it was like basically a whole song. So we put out, I'm like, man, I really like this idea. So then I'm like, I want to do an album. So we did just a 5-song EP, kind of dealing with everything that was happening with like the Black Lives Matter movement,
Mhm.
and dealing with those social issues. From there, I was like, man, I really want to do a full poetry album. So I did the vocals, and we created the song for Little Black Boy, and I let somebody hear it, and they were like, man, that'd be pretty dope. Like, just to read it and be consumable. And that's how I came up with it. But yeah, I was doing a poetry album that I'm actually still working on right now.
Wow. I love that. So do you still do spoken word?
Yes, I do. So trying to see right now, my schedule's been hectic. I really try to see when they're having open mics. I did an event maybe a year ago. I actually like kind of headlined an event, but mostly I try and go to open mics throughout the DMV area, um, and just get on the mic and kind of perform and get my craft out there and practice and practice. That's kind of where I get my practice in until, I got to headline something. And that's when, like comedians say, they go and work out, they go to small comedy clubs and
Right.
practice their material and how they want to say different things and see where it hits. And then when it's time for your real performance, you're out there. So I do a lot of that.
Well, you're gonna have to let me know when you performing so I can come see. I get
I
my steps
definitely
on.
will. I definitely, yeah. Make sure you get your snaps right. But yeah, we got it. I definitely let you know.
So now you have the two children's books,
Hmm.
and so show can you show them a little closer once again?
Yeah. Yes, I do. So this is the most recent one. This is the hard copy version. I do have it in a paperback, and
Okay.
this is just one of the covers. So Meadow and Friends, ABC Adventures, A Journey from English to Africa.
And what language do you? Because I love the concept, but what language or what African language are you using?
All of them.
Oh,
Yeah. So each page. So I can show a page
yeah.
here. Um, so we'll say this one
That's
right here.
such pretty illustrations.
Thank you. Thank you. So this one is Afrikaans,
Okay.
right? So it'll show you that. But on another page, so we'll just go to the next page.
Oh, I see where you're going.
So each one has a different dialect in it, and definitely says um, where it's from. And then at the bottom, it has a sentence using that.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of research in that one because definitely don't want to
Oh
get that
yeah.
right wrong, and I don't want to offend
Oh
nobody.
yeah, because our African brothers and sisters will get at you if you don't get it right.
Yes. So my neighbor, he is from Ghana. His wife is from Nigeria. So I let them see it. Hey, can you guys kind of take it to some folks? He was actually going to Ghana, so he took the book over to Ghana. He came back like 2 weeks and was like, "Yes, you passed the test." I was like, "All right, thank you." I was nervous for like 2 weeks. Like, man, if he comes back and he's like, they said no, I'll be like, all right, cool beans, back to the drawing board. But they did give me a stamp of approval. He talked to some other folks. One of our other neighbors is from Sierra Leone, so he looked over it and everything. So I made sure I got everything together, and then I, got me some spot checks in there to make sure I was on the right path and stuff like that. So that was good. And then for my other book, Little Black Boy. Um, so that is this one.
Okay.
Um, and again, right? So just different illustrations within. And I do have it kind of written out in the cadence of which I would have said the poem.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
So now, are you going? You think you're going to stay in this space?
Yes, I will. So what I want to do is come out with more um, learning books along the lines for my daughter. I want her to enjoy learning, and I want her to see herself within the books. I still want to stay with the process of using children around her age that I may, whose parents I may know, to incorporate their kids in the book so they see themselves in it, and just taking different languages. I definitely want to stay within the African, like in the continent of Africa and the different countries within. But I might try and explore different languages also, so it becomes twofold of not only just learning maybe like your shapes or your numbers or your colors, but also learning another language. Because what I've learned is even at this age, like they're teaching our kids at an early age Spanish, or some schools, depending on where you go, are teaching them French. So to make sure that that is put into the realm of it. But I also want to come out with another book, more along the lines for adults, to put my poems out there.
Yeah.
That's my first passion, and that's what I did start. It's just um, any poet will tell you they're probably their biggest critic is themselves.
Yes.
So when I have all my stuff together and I think it's almost ready, I'm like, nah, we're not there yet. And I'll either add or take away. So the process has taken a very long time to decide what poems I want to put in there. And but that's also something that I want to do.
Well, you're gonna have your hands full. You have the poetry space, you have the spoken word, you have
Mhm.
the books. And now is this your only thing, or do you have a day job as well?
I do. I'm a consultant for Defense Health headquarters at Defense Health Agency.
So
So
yes, you're a busy person.
yes, and I kind of took a pause with it right now, but I also cater and chef. So I try to keep my hands in a bunch of different things. But yeah,
I'm a busy person too, so I totally understand. But I'm gonna ask anyway. How in the world do you juggle everything?
um, so most people, it's organized chaos. That's what I'll say. Um, being from the military background, right? Air Force, we always say the key to air power is flexibility. It sounded corny, especially when I first came in, like, that sounds corny. But the reality is, it is being flexible is key. Um, I make schedules, but I don't stick to them unless something's super hard. And I allow myself the grace that if I don't finish something because I'm picking up something else, then I don't like beat myself down for it. And making sure that family gets the time that they need.
Yes.
And and then understanding, a mentor of mine told me a long time ago, there's no such thing as true balance, right? Like splitting everything up evenly. She told me give everything 100% when it's time. So if I'm with my kiddos, then that is their time and don't worry about nothing else. But when I go to work, make sure I'm 100% dedicated to that, unless there's an emergency somewhere else. When I'm focusing on my craft with my art, whether it be poetry or recording or working on a book, whatever time I'm going to give to that, give it 100%. And I think that before I used to try and do five different things all at the same time, and
That's
I
hard.
never, right. That's not only hard, but like I never gave everything 100%. Right. Let's say I'm trying to work on a book and spend time with my daughter at the same time, and I'm trying to cook an order for, some people who may order some food. The food may not get the love and attention that it did. I might not be seasoned as
You
correct.
burnt the food. You put some typos in the
And
book.
right, and then,
Your daughter ran off into the next room.
yep. Or she looked at me like you ain't paying attention, right?
Right.
Oh, hey, this is we're gonna do this, and then communicating. Hey, at this time, I'm going to be doing this, or waiting till she's at school or not here, just whatever it may be, just trying to make sure that whatever you're going to focus on that one thing until you get to not completion, but your stopping point, or until you're ready to
Yeah.
move on to the next thing. And when you're ready to move on to the next thing, give it that. Give all of that to it. And then when you're done with that, move on to the next. But trying to do 15 things at once, then if you divide 100% into by 15, I ain't got the math off the top of my head, but I know it ain't a high number.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's some very good advice that you just shared right there. But I was just going to ask you what's next, and what is something else that you'd like to share with the audience?
Um, what's next for me? Trying to figure out the next project. right now. I won't say trying to figure out. I'm working on the album, working on a poetry album, and just performing. Going to do different open mics. I'm kind of in a transition. I'll probably be moving down to Georgia very soon. That's where I'm from. So
You leaving us?
I'm leaving y'all. I'm leaving y'all. Still be up here sometimes, but yeah, definitely going to get down to Georgia and be closer to family
I get
and
it.
stuff like that. So,
You said
but
Columbus, Georgia, right?
Columbus, Georgia, 706. Sorry, small plug for the hometown. But but yeah, just getting back down there, um, trying to finish this album. My producer, longtime friend, he's also retired Air Force vet, family, work, and all that. So we find the time to do these things and just enjoying what I do. Right. Yeah, just enjoying what I do. So that's it. And then coming up with a new book. I think I'll do numbers. That'll be the next project. Even though by the time it comes out, she should have mastered at least 1 through 100, but it'll still be good for people to come. It'll still be good for her to learn from and to go back to. But for kids coming up and for parents to teach their kids with, hopefully. So that's all I got, really. Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, it still sounds like a pretty hefty schedule.
Yes, yes, indeed. Try to find time to relax and not stress during the holiday season. That's
That's the big one.
that's the big one. Try not to stress during this holiday season. That's it.
It's so funny that we say that, and I had to keep reminding myself that we're still nowhere near Christmas. It's only December 1st.
Indeed. So I just put up my tree. Me and my daughter we put up our tree on Saturday night. Sunday morning, she wakes up and she's like, "Why ain't no presents under the tree? Ain't it Christmas?" I said, "Baby, it ain't Christmas yet." She said, "Well, what you put the tree up for?" To get ready. She said she put that tree up. She went to sleep. She said that's the only reason I didn't fight on going to sleep. I thought I was gonna come back and it was gonna be presents under the tree. Uh-uh. Nah, ain't no presents under that tree just
But
yet.
it doesn't work like that, baby.
Hey, it just hit Cyber Monday. I ain't ordered nothing. So yeah,
Oh man, the innocence of childhood.
yes
Gotta love
indeed.
it.
Yes indeed. I've been sneaking in getting my credit. She's like, Santa ain't come here. Like, well, Santa may have been off, but Daddy does buy gifts. Just a heads up. Since I've been out here working hard, I want my credit too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, I need my just due.
There you go. Well,
Mhm.
Julius, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I enjoyed our conversation. Congratulations again on your books. Um, Even though you're leaving us and you're planning on moving away, if you ever want to come back to the show, all you have to do is say the word. This is a virtual show, so you can come back anytime you like.
Okay, thank you so very much. Thank you so much for having me, giving me the opportunity to do this. I really, really, really appreciate the platform for authors and entertainers. This is just a beautiful thing, and I definitely will be trying to come back on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Just say the word.
All righty.
All right. You have a great night.
All right, you have a good one too.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. That was author Julius King. He has two amazing children's books. The link is on the screen right now. Make sure you go and grab those books. Um, oh my goodness, I really love the whole um to Africa concept. That was beautiful. So just make sure you go and grab those books. So I think our second guest is running a little late, but that is totally fine because I need to let you guys know that you guys are showing up and showing out. I was looking at the votes for the Culture Book Awards, and first of all, if you haven't seen it yet, here are the Here are the featured authors.
It's time to uplift. It's time to uplift and amplify the voices that shape our world.
Have really been showing up for these authors. I checked the site just before I started the show, and there have been over 800 votes cast for these authors. And the top 5 switched so much. I'm not telling you who the top 5 are because they switched so much. I can tell you who the top 5 are, and it might change tomorrow. So I'm not even telling you who they are right now. But we still have about 14 more days of voting, and you can vote every day for your favorite author, and every vote counts. So if you think that your favorite author has it in the bag, they probably do not. So please make sure that you were going on every single day and voting for your favorite author, because we really want your authors to be successful. And just so you know, the votes are not the only way we determine the winner of this contest. The votes are only a piece of the total score. We are still going to be reading the books, and they're going to be judged by writing quality. They're going to be judged by the cover. They're going to be judged by how they pour into the culture. And then they are all going to be added together for a total score along with the votes, and that's how we choose the winners. So every vote counts, but it's not the only thing, but it is very important. So please make sure you're going out and supporting your favorite authors. And now, without any further ado, I'm going to bring on our next guest, who is one of the featured authors, Miss Danielle Spencer. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Miss Digital Assassin?
I'm good. I had a mild mishap this weekend.
Oh, you know what? It happens. I hope you're all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Well, first of all, congratulations for being one of the nine authors who are going to be a part of the For the Culture Book Awards. I'm really excited for you. I want to see where your book lands. I hope you make it into the top 5. I said I'm not allowed to say who's top 5 and who's not, so I'm just telling everybody I hope you make it into the top 5. But your book is not just your normal relationship book. It's not just a normal adventure book. Your book just takes on an entirely different subject. So can you talk to us, what is Digital Assassins? And you actually have 3 Digital Assassin books.
So the third book in the series, it's like a prequel, but my book series documents my real life lived experiences being a federal government whistleblower. And so the first 2 books talk about what I believe I experienced with the misuse of technology, the misuse of data, and the misuse of the judicial system and the inspector general system. This third book talks about, again, it is my lived experience, but firsthand witnessing sexual harassment, sexism, misogyny, and racism. And my belief that these acts were going on in the workplace, especially within the government, and they were never addressed. And since they were never addressed early, that led the foundation that now, if I can be sexist, if I can sexually harass someone and not face a consequence to it, Now I can use technology to harass, bully, or retaliate against people because I was able to do it before technology was readily available. Now I can use these modern tools to do basically the same thing.
And that's scary. I think that that's just something that kids go through with cyberbullying, but this is to the nth degree when it comes to adults actually doing this.
Yes, and it happens. And one of my fourth books the fourth book that is not part of the series talks about this concept of data theft, and that's when someone, because of their job, they have access to your data, but the different things that they can do once they have your data, and one of them is cyberbullying. So if you are in a relationship with someone and it ends, if they get access to your data, they can use your data to cyberbully you, to cyber stalk you, or even stalk you in real time, or to retaliate or cause you harm. So it talks about, I want to say all of my books talk about kind of what's going on now and how technology and your data can be used to mistreat you.
Now, these are fiction books, but they're based on real experiences. Is that correct?
Correct. And what I would say, I call them fiction because the names have been changed. And some of the conversations, I might not remember like word for word what was said, but it's a gist of the conversations. And there are some conversations, I'm not sure that they happen that way, but all of the events that happened, that I outline in the book, they actually really did happen.
Well, that takes a lot of bravery, one, to be a whistleblower, because often when you are a whistleblower, you're kind of standing alone. And you are bringing to light something that other people may have been afraid to bring to light. And then two, to write about it. So you're keeping it in the light, so to speak. Um, what goes through your mind as you decide to go forward with something like this?
I would say for me, because of my upbringing, I didn't think about being that it was causing me to be a whistleblower. It was, I grew up in a union activist home. So at a very, very young age, I was going to NAACP meetings, helping my dad out with complaints, union complaints, and reading them for him. So that to me became second nature, that when things were not right, you just spoke up and you talked about it. So I never thought about it being a whistleblower. And because I didn't have, I want to say, that fear or concern, I just, when things were not right, just spoke about it. The reason for me, like writing the books, it wasn't no altruistic motives there. It was trying to cover and protect myself. I want to say retaliation started late in 2017, and starting like I want to say in 2020, 2021, then I want to say events and documents started to be fabricated. And I became concerned that, if financial documents were being manipulated or being fabricated, that I didn't know what was coming next. If anybody was, felt that bold to fabricate things, who knew banking financial situation could be fabricated. Documents or pictures could just show up on your computer. So I wrote the books more as a covering for myself to kind of say, this is kind of what's been happening. And I'm putting it out there for the world to see, so that if any of those events unfolded, I could go back and say, no, and starting in 2023, I wrote about these and how data and technology was being misused and manipulated, and even certain documents were being fabricated, all in the mind to kind of assassinate your character or my character.
So, um, now that you've written the book, well, before I go there, do you have um, the same characters throughout all three books?
Yes,
Oh,
I want to say there are four main characters. The third book, which is the book that's for the Culture Awards, the Ruth character is in the other two books. And I want to say she's just the main character within that third book. But I want to say namesake Danielle, it is introduced at the end. So Ruth is in all three, and she's the one who's talking about my experiences seeing the sexual harassment and things of that nature. And so there are another group of characters in that third book, but she's in all three.
So, do you kind of pattern her a little bit after yourself, or is she kind of a conglomeration of a lot of different people, so to speak?
I would say all the Danielle Spencer character, that's me, my personality and everything else. I have a family member who, the one character, I think Abby or Abigail, she's patterned after her. And the other two characters, including Ruth, they're two really close friends that I have. They're their character and their characteristics are patterned after them. They kind of knew when they read the books which one of them was which character, because I don't say it's obvious to them because they know how they would speak and how they react to different situations. So they were able to pick out which character was them.
Does it ever seem scary at times that you've chosen this platform, so to speak?
I would say no. I have heard from some individuals where they said that, like, for example, just one example, in the book where a traffic ticket was fabricated. And when they read about that story and they asked me about it, and I could show them the pictures of the fake traffic ticket, they've said it was scary to them because they couldn't believe like something that would happen. But for me, none of the events were scary. Like I said, when like that with the traffic ticket, and there were other documents that were fabricated, I never became scared. I became concerned, then angry. But I never had a fear or being scared about any of the situations or the books or anything of that nature.
But so what do you want to see happen next? So what do you want to see happen with your books?
I want to say I'm not so much an author as I'm more of an activist. I've realized that, as time has gone by, I've seen a lot of especially data misuse. And I've seen technology misuse. So I'm more of kind of sharing with people, this is what can happen. And I've learned along the way that, especially for legislation to kind of change or be put in place, unfortunately, people have to wait until they're negatively impacted. So my goal with the books and when I speak with people is to educate them about these are the things that you should be looking for. These are the things that are signs that you can. And more people are educated, maybe we can start putting some data privacy, some technology, put some of those laws on the book now before too many of us are negatively impacted. And I want to say it's not even just technology and data. Also, some things about debt collection. One of the things that happened to someone in my circle, they had a timeshare that they had gotten rid of over 30 years ago. And one of the things that happened is that there was a financial audit that went through, and they found this timeshare, and all of a sudden it became active again. So if you look at like some of the current events that going on, like with Letitia James, I think Adam Schiff and Lisa Cook, where they're like, oh, we're going to accuse them of mortgage fraud. But where did you get that information? Someone was combing through their mortgage records looking for any discrepancy so that they could accuse them of something. And so that was something that I went through and people that were close to me went through, where people were going through their records looking for anything. And so that's something else where it's not necessarily related to technology, but it is related to data. What I believe after that, people shouldn't be able to go through your records without a just reason. That's one thing. The second thing is there has to be time limits on anything. For example, like I said, I brought up that timeshare.
Right.
They had deeded it back, had given it back to the company over 30 years ago. Now, because the records supposedly can't be found, trying to come after those individuals for 30 years worth of maintenance of fees and stuff. So there are a lot of, like I said, a lot of things I've seen that I'm thinking, like, now being an activist, need to bring people's, educate people about it. And before it happens to you, let's see if we can work together as a community to see what laws we can put on the book so that others aren't negatively impacted by these type of situations.
Wow, that is scary. That's something that you think you resolved years ago could just pop up like that. What can people do to protect their data?
What I would say, there are some
Simple things that people can do that they just may not be thinking about.
one thing, when you throw anything in the trash, even I'll say medicine bottles, black out or shred things that might have your PII or your personally identifying information. Black that out, shred it up, so no one, if they go through your trash, they're not able to find it. The other thing that's kind of simple but a little time consuming is get on a regular cadence of checking any type of account that you have, financial account, credit cards, if you have a car note, if you have a tax bill, anything, any type of account that you have, get on a regular cadence where you're checking them to make sure that everything's okay. So those, I want to say, those are two kind of small things that you can do to kind of protect yourself. And the third, I would say, is that if you know of a privacy or a data organization, there's one privacy organization that's associated with Georgetown University to support those organizations' efforts, because they're on the front line now fighting against surveillance, where basically almost anywhere you go now, there are cameras everywhere surveilling everything that we're doing, misuse of cell phone surveillance data. So also supporting those other organizations that are already on the front lines, thinking about how data can be misused, that would be helpful in helping protect not only yourself, but our community.
Now, what do you say to some people? Because I know there's some people out there who they appear to just go overboard. They think that they always think there's somebody out to get them, so they just seem to go overboard. That's how they get you. I don't do this because they're going to steal my data. They're going to do that because they're going to steal my name. And we think that they're probably crazy, but they may have some credence to what they're saying.
I would say I was probably one of the other people on the other side before 2017 that was like that. Like, oh, if you're not doing X, Y, and Z, if you're not a highly known political activist, you don't have to worry about that. After going through, what I've gone through, I have a different appreciation for them now. You do not have to be, because I'm not famous, I'm not rich. I didn't come from like the Vanderbilt or Ford family where it got familial money, but still these tactics were used against me. So I have a different appreciation for them now. What I would say is, like, some people are petrified of AI. I'm not going to use it because it's not going to do it. And I'm like, whether you use it or not, it's here. It's going to be used, whether you use it or not. But it's better for you to understand the technology, understand who's using it, and learn how can it be misused. Just because you don't use it or you believe it might have negative impacts, and it will, just like anything else, you still need to have that knowledge of it. Just putting your head in the sand, not using it, not understanding, that will not protect you in the end. So for any of those people who think, well, I'm just not going to use this because they're not going to get your data, Whether even if you don't use it, your employer uses it, your bank uses it, your doctors, all of them do anyway. So you're not doing yourself any favors by not using it, but you still need to be aware of what the laws are and the way that it's supposed to act or supposed to function and how it can be misused.
That's a very good point because in the author world, I hear people say it all the time. I'm not using AI. I don't trust AI. You never know where they're getting that information from. I'm never going to use it. And then there are people who say that AI is taking our jobs. And I like what you said that whether you use it or not, it's still being used.
Mhm.
And you still need to have an understanding of it. And I'm one of the people who believes that AI is not taking your job, but people who know AI and understand AI may take your job. And so I try to tell people that even if you have a cursory understanding of it, you can still protect yourself. Like even if you use Chat GPT, there are still protections that you can use with Chat GPT to make sure that you're not using your data to teach the model. But I think a lot of people, it's a very small thing that people can do that they don't realize they can do to make sure they're not sharing. But if you don't take the time to learn that, you don't know that.
And kind of piggyback on what you said, with the use of AI, even if they're using your data, because I believe even if you turn that off, that they're still being used. But while some jobs might kind of edge away, there are a lot of jobs that should be coming up or kind of coming into focus now. We need a lot of people doing forensics, doing auditing of all, and because there's not really, I won't say like an honest conversation about AI and its use, those needed career fields are not being pressed. So you have the with Sam Altman's, the X's, and whomever just using AI for anything with no oversight. And that is where the problem comes in. So instead of people being
Right.
concerned about, well, I don't want to use it because this and that, okay, we're using it. Now we need to know, how is this being governed? How is it being, what policies, what laws? That's where I believe it would be more helpful for people to put their focus, because let's say you might not need that many editors anymore, but you might have people who had an editing background. We need to be able to audit those engines. Are they doing it correctly? Well, where's this data going? Well, how do we, so that the jobs should be morphing or transitioning to something else. But we got to have those honest conversations, not based in fear, but based in knowledge, so that um, we're not giving all our data over to these machines and they're doing whatever they want with the data.
We just had a question come in
Mhm.
from Walter Reed Stories. He said, "Do you think AI is used to track our data as well?" I think you kind of answered that, but if
Yes.
you might want to just touch on that a little bit more.
Yes. I think it's being used to do a lot of things. And again, because there is no policy, there's no governance structure set up, that's where I want to say the problem and the biggest hole and gap is. And that's kind of like, again, that's where our focus kind of needs to be. And we're using this. How do we govern and make sure it's not being misused?
I will say I use AI a lot, but at the same time, I'm still very careful about what I use AI for. Like I've seen people say that I put my entire credit report in AI to help me to identify some. I'm not doing that.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I will, and I will take AI and I would say, and I might put some general information in there so I can get some ideas for something, or I might say, like for instance, with my Black History Month event, can you give me some ideas on how I can market my event? I'll do things like that, or help me to outline this new book I'm writing. Doing things
Mhm.
like that. But when it comes to very personal information, I feel like it knows enough about me. I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give it my financial data or things like that. And I do the same thing about social media. As much as I'm on social media, there's still a lot of personal information that I'm not going to put on social media, and I treat AI the same way. So I think that in certain respects, I think people can still protect themselves by just not putting too much information in there.
Yes, again, because there is no governance, there's really no oversight, and not just with AI, but again, like you said, social media. And my personal opinion is set up that way on purpose because people make a lot of money. They're able to make a lot of money and do whatever they want because there's really no rules. But that's kind of where the conversation to me needs to go. We need to have some rules that govern not just AI, but also social media. There needs to be some rules that govern it so that people aren't able to do whatever they want, and whether just speaking and whatever they want about anybody, but also taking your data and selling it to people or whatever. There really needs to be some rules that govern that these technologies.
Great conversation. Well, just to remind everybody, we were talking with author and activist Danielle Spencer. She is the author of, should we call it a trilogy?
I guess yes.
Yeah, the trilogy, Digital Assassins. Do you have the books with you? Can you show them to us?
I only have, I think, a copy of the third one.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so this is Digital Assassins 3, and this is the latest one. And
Yes.
you can get a copy at this website, daniellespencer.org. You can also get it on Amazon. And Danielle is one of the authors in the For the Culture Book Awards, and you can vote for her at www.mtwimagesolutions.com/contest hyphen 2020 contest 2025. The website is a little long, but it's on the screen right now. So just click that link and you can vote for Danielle, and you can go back every day and vote for her again. But I don't want you to just vote for her. I want you to also order her book and read Digital Assassins. The book is amazing, and it's very interesting. It's all about data security and how people can use data and how they can use digital media to kind of, would you say, bullying or to,
Or even I would go, it can be bullying or it could be cyber terrorism, where they're using technology to terrorize you. So I lived through it, so it's a real thing.
it's so scary. Yeah, I'm really glad we had this conversation. It's very eye-opening. So thank you for sharing your story with us. I I know this is the third in the series, and you said it's a prequel, but I feel like I need to go back. I need to read all three of the books. I don't know if I should start with this one, if I should go back and read the Digital Assassins 1 and then come back up. But I know I'm reading all three of them. So I already have my reading list, and all three of them are on there. So, but thank you for joining me tonight. Good luck in the contest. Best wishes and all that you're doing, and stay safe. You're always in my prayers, and I look forward to working with you a lot more.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thank you. All right, y'all. We have reached the end of another amazing episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. We've met two amazing authors tonight. Please make sure that you support these authors. You can see they are really putting their foot into this literary industry, and they are bringing it. So please make sure you go out and support them, and make sure you go out and vote for these authors, and make sure you get your tickets. If you're in New Orleans or you're going to be in New Orleans February 19th through the 21st, Make sure you get your tickets for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. This will be our 10th anniversary, and we have a weekend packed with activities celebrating literacy, celebrating Black history, celebrating you. And I want you all to be a huge part of it. Here's the link on the screen. Make sure you click there. Look at the we're going to be highlighting, because there are going to be a lot of them. Make sure you get your tickets, because the first of all, the doggone Black History Month Comedy Night is going to be amazing. We're going to have comedian Steve Brown, Rod Minger. You might have seen both of them on Instagram, because their Instagrams are just blowing up, Instagrams and TikToks. Then you have Nicole Blue, my girl, my soror. She is hilarious. And then you have Christopher Columbus. All of them are part of the Greek Comedy Tour, who's been a huge friend to Meet the World Image Solutions, and I'm looking forward to working with all of them again. So I'm gonna see you guys. In fact, all of them have been on this show before, so I'm gonna have to show y'all some highlights. That's how funny they are. But we're gonna have a good time. So stay around for the ride. Remember, after tonight, there are only 2 more episodes this year, and then we're gonna take a 2-week hiatus, and then we'll be back in January 2026. So lots of great things happening. We have Black History Month. We have For the Culture Book Awards. We have Surprise Swipe Right. If you've not gotten your copy, make sure you get your copy. This book is amazing. And I'm not saying it because it's mine. I'm saying it because it's true. Get your copy tonight. Get it. And if you got it already, leave a sister a review so they know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. That's all I have for tonight. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. I hope you had a blessed Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping you're going to have an even more blessed Christmas season. Or I'm just going to say holiday season. Some of you may not celebrate Christmas. You may celebrate Hanukkah. You may celebrate Kwanzaa. You may just celebrate the holidays, period. But whatever it is, I just ask you to stay blessed and keep reading. Bye-bye.